This understatements I will have made over the last 10.5 years is to say that this is a big day in the city of Mobile, Alabama, and the state of Alabama. The odds makers in Las Vegas would have never bet that we would be here today with this kind of conversation that we're getting ready to have. But how exciting it is. And we have so many dignitaries here today. Governor Ivey, you know that we have a room reserved for you at the Renaissance because you're here so often doing ribbon cuttings and so forth. Thank you so much for being here. Administrator Shailen, Bhatt, thank you for being here. We're obviously very excited, and you're not new to the area. I understand he attended a wedding a few years ago at Point Clear, so welcome back. Senator Britt, glad to see you, delighted that you're here. Congressman Carl, and so many other dignitaries. I'm actually going to ask you to kind of stand by groups, but the state delegation, anybody in this Alabama state delegation, please stand up, not just local delegation, but any of our legislators that are here, please stand and let's give them a big round of applause. And I see some of our city council, the county commission, and also probably some MPO members, so if y'all would also please stand. I think it's safe to say that anybody that's been an elected official over the last 8 or 10 years, matter of fact, it actually goes back further than that, has had their fingerprints on this at some point in time. So thanks to everybody that has teed it up so that we can actually be here today. $550 million. Wow. Double wow. That is amazing. There's so many people that have to be thanked for this, and we've already recognized several here, but there's nobody to be thanked, I think, more so than Governor Kay Ivey for what she's done and given the Department of Transportation, the Alabama Department of Transportation, and John Cooper the directive to continue on with this. You know, we need that bridge, and I never will forget when Governor Ivey assumed the position of being governor. She was on a tour of the state. We had a whiteboard downstairs, and she asked a group of Mobilians, business leaders and elected officials, what's the most important thing that y'all have that we need here? And she was just like being a school teacher. She was writing on the whiteboard, and the I-10 bridge came up. So, Governor, we've come a long way, but thank you for your persistence in this. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank President Biden for what he did with the infrastructure bill. Had it not been for him and the collaboration to get the infrastructure bill, bipartisan infrastructure bill passed, we would not be here. Also, Secretary Buttigieg for his participation in it, and the Administrator Bhatt for yours, and you'll have an opportunity to share your feelings with us in just a moment. But as I have said, and I'll say it again, none of this happens without a lot of regional and state and federal collaboration. It just would not happen. And so for that, I think that we can all say today that we have crossed another hurdle. Maybe my analogy is not exactly right on this, but it's like you're in a high hurdles race. And we've maybe crossed the 8th hurdle. There are 2 more, but I'm not so sure that the next 2 may be a little bit lower than this one. But this gives a shot in the arm so that we can actually continue on with this project. So very, very grateful, and you'll hear me say that a whole lot. But I'll tell you a couple of interesting things that happened. Right after we got the award, my friend Mayor Mitch Landrieu, Mayor of New Orleans, formerly the Mayor of New Orleans, and I don't know if how many of y'all know this, but we used to put a billboard up between here and New Orleans, giving them permission to have Mardi Gras. And at first he took offense to that, but then he realized it was an opportunity to establish a relationship. Well, he called me the day after the announcement that we had gotten this $550 million, and he was very, very complimentary. And he said, Mayor, I just want to tell you, he said, the team that was leading the effort on this, their tenacity is unbelievable. He said they would come to D.C., and he specifically, in my opinion, although there were members of the Chamber of Commerce, there were parts of different elected officials going, but really it was ALDOT, you know, continuing to go to D.C., engaging with the federal Highway Administration, as well as other people at DOT, taking that feedback and coming and implementing those suggestions that were made so that we could continue to move this forward. So for that tenacity and all, and Mayor Landrieu reaching out, again, I think he framed it pretty well. It's only because of that tenacity that we're here today. I know that the other speakers will probably talk about the benefits of this project. One way to capsulize this is that probably within about a 20-mile area from right here, there's probably $10 to $12 billion worth of projects that will improve the economic development of this area. I would venture to say that without the bridge, that none of them would be optimized or maximized if you do not have the bridge. We can have the airport downtown, we can deepen and widen the channel, but the thing that pulls it all together from a transportation standpoint is that we've got to have the bridge. So I believe that everybody understands that. But having said that, at this time, I'll call on the governor to make her remarks. Governor? No, Governor, excuse me 1 second. Oh, yes, Governor, you come right ahead. Yep. Sorry about that. No. Sorry about that.
Well, good morning, y'all. We say it often, but it cannot be overstated. It is a great day to be in Mobile, Alabama. Mayor Stimpson, Councilman Burrell, thank you for getting us started. Your leadership of our two MPOs has been instrumental in getting us to here today. Administrator Bhatt, I am proud to officially welcome you to Alabama. We sure are glad you're here. And I'm sure you know by now that you're in the home of the original Mardi Gras. Folks, investing in the Mobile River Bridge and Bayway project is not just good for Mobile, and it's not good just for Alabama. It's good for our country. This is a critical national corridor, and let me say that it simply would not be possible without this significant federal backing. Senator Britt, Congressman Carl were both instrumental in championing this project. Thank you both. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how federal dollars should be invested. And I commend our federal government for sending these dollars to Sweet Home, Alabama. It's one of the largest federal grants in our state's history. And y'all, that's no small thing. On top of this grant, we are also proud to support the project from the state level. As you all know full well, the Ivey administration is rebuilding Alabama in all 67 counties. We are deepening and widening the Port of Mobile, and we aren't letting anything slow down our progress. And now, I am proud that we are one step closer to breaking ground on the Mobile River Bridge and Bayway project. We will continue aggressively moving forward with this project because this too is a top infrastructure priority for the Ivey administration. Again, it is a great day for Mobile, for Alabama, and for America. Thank you all for being here and for supporting this endeavor. It's a true team effort. Thank you, Administrator Bhatt, for coming down to celebrate Mobile style. Let's get it done, folks. May God continue to bless each of you and the great state of Alabama.
So our next speaker will be Jack Burrell, councilman from Fairhope, and also the chairman of the MPO, Eastern Shore MPO. He'll be followed by Administrator Shailen Bhatt, and then U.S. Senator Katie Britt, then United States Congressman Jerry Carl, and then I will come back and close out. So, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor Stimpson. Thank you, Governor. I'm quite sure that's the first time and maybe the last time that I've ever followed the governor of one of our 50 states. So awesome. I'm super excited to be here. As the mayor said, my name is Jack Burrell. I'm a city council member in Fairhope, Alabama. I'm also chairman of the Eastern Shore Metropolitan Planning Organization. And I stand before you today. I'm very humbled to be in this room with all these people that have made this hugely important project for not only this area, but for the country to come to fruition. The mayor's already said it, and I'm sure you'll hear it more, and the governor's already said it, but this is really a great day, and as the mayor said, wow. It is really, it's a wow factor. When I got the call from Mr. Austin that we were going to be awarded this grant, that's pretty much all I could say. I was overwhelmed, and thank you, Administrator Bhatt. Thank you so much for what you've done, and thank you, Congressman Carl, Senator Britt, all of our local state elected officials, all of the MPOs of Mobile and the Eastern Shore that have been so instrumental to making this happen. We're proud of what's happening in South Alabama. You know, not only is the economy booming, but we're growing. Baldwin County, the county that I live in, is one of the fastest growing in the United States of America. In fact, it's in the top 10 fastest growing counties in the United States of America. So it's very, very important to have this project completed. Beyond our booming population and our strong economic growth, we're home to some 8 million visitors annually that come to our beaches and enjoy Mobile and enjoy our charming small towns that we have. So it's also vitally important for that. But as we all know, as more and more people come to visit or to live here, it strains our infrastructure, and particularly our key roadways like I-10. And that's why this funding is so important for us. I want to take another moment to thank everyone that played a role, and I'm sure that I'm going to miss some of you in this room. In particular, I want to thank my fellow Eastern Shore MPO members. Many of them are here. The vast majority of them are here. And I know that the mayor had asked you to stand up early, but can I get you all to stand up? Because, you know, there's one thing that they did. There's one thing that this group of people did. And not only did they get this project moving forward, but by working with the governor, Director Cooper, and ALDOT, they got it moving what we believe correctly. I mean, I believe that to the best of our ability that we got this project done the right way, and that took a lot of conversations and a lot of the state and the county and the cities all coming together as one to determine what was best for all of us, and I really am proud of that fact. I do not believe that we'd be here today if we didn't have such a strong working partnership between the MPOs, the state of Alabama, Governor Ivey, ALDOT, USDOT, our state legislators, and our federal delegation. Everyone was involved, from the governor on down. We worked hand in hand to move this project forward. This project that not only affects those of us in this room or our constituents, it truly affects the I-10 corridor from California to Florida. So on behalf of the Eastern Shore MPO, I cannot thank Administrator Bhatt and the Federal Highway Administration and USDOT enough for this critical grant funding. I promise you from the bottom of my heart, it will truly make a difference in the lives of so many people. So again, thank you, and with that, I'll turn it back over to Mayor Stimpson.
Actually, instead of me popping back and forth, if we would just come forward, but Shailen Bhatt, you're next. So you can defer to the senator, but it seems like she's ready to follow you at this time. Yeah.
She looks a lot better than I do.
Oh, we would all agree with that, okay?
You probably want to hear from her more than me. Well, it is truly a great day to be in Mobile, and Governor, thank you. And we've been together a couple of times. I actually went to Western Kentucky University, so I drove down 65 to Alabama a few times, and I've done a few Alabama DOT events, and I did go to a wedding in Point Clear, and my wife and I, we stopped on the way back to the airport. We had a few hours of time before our flight, and I'm a huge history buff, so I was like, the Alabama's right there. We stopped at some marina and ate lunch, and then I got back on I-10 and ran into a traffic jam. And my wife was like, "Don't you do transportation for a living?" And I was like, yeah, and I wasn't counting on this traffic jam to be here. And I know that is the tale for many people, and really excited today that we're able to make that announcement. And I'll say this, I am here representing President Biden and Secretary Buttigieg at USDOT, but I've actually worked for 3 governors, 2 Democrats, 1 Republican. I've worked in a blue state, a red state, and a purple state. And I think that is the beauty and the wonder of the bipartisan infrastructure law. The governor talked about how this is an important project for Mobile, it's an important project for Alabama, and it's an important project for the entire United States of America. And one of the things I'm most proud of, Senator, is that I actually got a unanimous voice vote in the Senate, because I think transportation is one of the areas that as Americans we can truly come together on. And it's one of the few things that truly binds us together as Americans now, these roads and highways and bridges that that we don't stop to check your voter registration on. People just drive on them because it is good, and what's good for Alabama is good for the nation. Now, I want everybody in Alabama to understand that this announcement that we made 2 weeks ago was for $5 billion for bridges across the nation. There's $12.5 billion in the bipartisan infrastructure law in that bridge discretionary grant program. So the fact that Alabama is getting $550 million, that is a big chunk of that funding. I want to give all of Alabama a round of applause for that. You know, and I want to recognize Alabama DOT, the director, chief engineer. A couple of times they called me, they're like, we really need your help. And I was like, I'm from DC, I'm here to help. And then they called me back one time, they're like, you're actually hurting us. Whatever you just did in that last round, that actually hurt us. So stop doing that. I was like, okay, I'll stop doing that. But we got there. So the director's been really passionate about this. Chief engineer, Austin, called me a couple of times. He was like, it's my day off, and I'm moving my child into college, but can we talk? And I was like, you're doing the day off wrong. That's not what that means. And you're getting me in trouble with my wife and kids because it's my day off too. But we had a lot of conversations around that. But we got there, and in a few years, we'll come back and we'll break ground. And a few years after that, we'll come back for the ribbon cutting. So congratulations to Alabama, and super excited to get this done. Thank you very much, and turn it over to Senator Britt.
Governor, Mayor, distinguished guest, I see so many members of the state legislature. I see city leaders, county leaders, all here together, federal leaders, for a common goal to celebrate